me scrolling it?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Good. Fine. So today we will complete the fundamentals by discussing the point number 7, which won't take much time. So the topic is effect of nature of load on nature of IL. Fine. So topic of discussion is the effect of nature of load on nature of IL. So IL refers to load current, and when I say nature of load means which kind of load it is. So loads as far as power electronics is concerned can be of many types. It can be R load, it can be RL load, or it can be RL EB load. So technically this is also called as purely resistive load. This is usually referred as small inductive load, and this is referred to as highly inductive load, or also known as motor load. Okay, fine. So here we see that although there are three passive elements which are known to an electronics engineer, that is R, L and C. So among the passive components, R, L and C, we have this as the first one, a combination of this and this as second one, and we have a combination of this along with EB as a third one. But you do not have any combination like RC, LC, or RLC kinds of loads in power electronics. This is not possible. Somebody may say, "Sir, why do you say it is not possible? Just take L, connect it in series with C, just take R, connect it with C." No, it's not like that. When I say it is not possible in power electronics means real world loads do not exist. Okay, it means real world loads do not exist. Okay, and we also know this right from first year of engineering, or maybe even before that, that if I have a resistor there is some voltage drop across the resistor, say VR, there is some current flowing through it, IR. Okay, and this VR and IR can either be DC or they can also be AC. Okay, so as far as AC is concerned, I can say if VR comma IR are sinusoidal, then VR comma IR VR comma IR are in phase. Okay, or we can say the phase difference phi is 0 degrees. And when I say that VR comma IR are in phase, that means when VR when VR attains its peak, IR also attains its peak. Okay, so usually if we consider a single phase system, just a minute, there is some issue with my pen tablet. Okay, so when I said peak, we know that peak occurs at omega t equal to pi by 2. Okay, that is what it means. Now we are not going to discuss about what are the phase relationships between VR and IR for capacitive load, because that is not under the possibility of power electronics. So we have to discuss about what if the load is inductive. Okay. RL loads. So now we have voltage across resistor VR, and we have voltage across inductor VL, and we have some current flowing through it, IL. Okay, so we know that this component inductor, it introduces a current lag. Okay, because it opposes a sudden change in okay. So inductor introduces a current lag. That means compared to the previous case, the current IL will lag the voltage VL by an angle phi, which is a function of the value of L. Okay, it's very clear now. So now consider a scenario. The scenario is this, that consider a semi-converter. Let us not discuss what is a semi-converter. That is a part of syllabus later. Consider a semi-converter driven by single phase AC source and driving a load. Okay, this loads will first be R, then it will be RL. Okay, semi-converter circuit looks like this. All of us know that this is a bridge rectifier, uncontrolled, wherein all four devices are diodes, that is uncontrolled devices. Okay, 230 volt RMS, 50 hertz, line neutral. Here you have the load, and this load can either be pure resistor or it can be resistor in series with a small inductor. Anything can be there. Okay, this is my load current IL, and load voltage VL. Okay, source voltage Vs, load voltage, load current. Now I am replacing this diode with an SCR and this diode also with an SCR, and the firing angle for this SCR, sorry, not like this, firing angle for this SCR is alpha, and for this SCR is pi plus alpha. So I have already made this circuit using MATLAB Simulink, and I will flash to you and show to you that how the load current is purely sinusoidal and it is in phase with the load voltage if the semiconductor is driving a load when it is purely resistive, and how the peaking instants of IL and VL now differ when I add a small inductance to the resistor in series. Okay, so over to MATLAB now. So this is my MATLAB interface. I say file, not file. I can open it like this also, but I would like to open through Simulink. So I can just go to file, open. I have kept my Simulink model on desktop with the name HWCR. I'll say open, and it will be open the Simulink model for me, which I will simulate. Okay. Yeah, so it's here. Okay. Another way of opening this is also like this. You say Simulink, click Simulink, go to file, say open, go to desktop, HWCR, say open. Yeah, so here we are seeing a circuit which is exactly like what is looking in our paper. We have a bridge configuration, and in every leg of the bridge we are having one SCR, okay, fired at alpha and pi plus alpha. So now this is first SCR, diode, SCR and diode. Okay, and the AC source has been set at 325.27 corresponding to 230 volt RMS. The frequency is 50 Hertz, and this is my load, that is series RLC branch. So I will double click the series RLC branch and I will make it purely resistive by selecting the branch type as pure R, and I will have the resistance equal to 10 ohm, and I will click OK. As soon as I do this change, initially the branch was looking as R series L. So I'll tell you how it changes. So if I double click this, some problem. Okay, so I select R, it is showing like this. If I select RL, it will show like this. If I say RC, it will become like this. If I say it is C, it will become a pure capacitor symbol. So let me make it R again. It's R with a value of 10 ohms. So now I will say simulate for 0.06 seconds or 60 milliseconds, that is 3 cycles of the input. I will say run, and we can see here there's a scope, and the scope looks like this. Okay, so I will right click and say auto scale. So we are seeing here the first waveform which you are seeing, the first, that is the topmost waveform, is the source voltage Vs. The waveform below it is the source current Is. The third waveform is the load voltage VL, and the fourth is the load current IL. So we see here naturally the input source Vs, it peaks with a value plus Vm at omega t equal to pi by 2, or it is 5 milliseconds here, and it peaks at minus Vm at omega t equal to 3 pi by 2, or we can say 15 milliseconds. So similarly, the load voltage here also, it will peak at pi by 2. Now you are not able to appreciate it here, so I will change the firing angle now. So I will make the firing angle as 30 degrees. So let me first check 30 degrees corresponds to how much on the time scale. So now I want alpha equal to 30 degrees. So 30 degrees corresponds to how much in milliseconds. So I know that 180 degrees corresponds to 10 milliseconds. So 30 degrees will correspond to 30 into 10 by 180. So it will be 1.67 milliseconds, I think so. Yes. So similarly, if I say pi plus alpha, which will equal to 180 degrees plus 30 degrees, will be 210 degrees, equal to how many milliseconds? There is no need to calculate, because I know that if 180 degrees corresponds to 10 milliseconds and 30 degrees corresponds to 1.76 milliseconds, naturally 210 degrees or pi plus alpha will correspond to 11.67 milliseconds. So I have to actually put it in the tool that my first SCR must fire at 1.67 milliseconds and my second SCR must fire at 11.67 milliseconds. Okay. So what I will do is I will double click this pulse generator T12, and I will just say that the phase delay is now 1.67 E minus 3, that is 1.67 milliseconds, and I will add 10 milliseconds to this in order to make it as 11.67. So I can in fact copy this by Control C and say OK, and the second pulse generator T34, which is firing my second SCR, will now be at 11.67. So 11.67 milliseconds. Save, simulate, double click. Okay. So now auto scale, auto scale, auto scale and auto scale. Okay, so we are seeing here that the firing angle has reduced from 90 degrees to 30 degrees. Okay, now student, just see here, just observe the third and the fourth waveforms from the top. So the third waveform is load voltage and fourth waveform is load current, and we are seeing here that the load voltage is peaking, that it is attaining a value of 325.27 volts at 5 milliseconds or pi by 2 radians. Similarly, the load current is peaking with a value of 32.57 amperes again at omega t equal to pi by 2. So the instant or the value of omega t at which the load voltage peaks, that is pi by 2 radians, at that same instant the load current is also peaking. Now we will see, so what we have seen here is that when the load is purely resistive in nature, IL and VL are in phase, they do not lag. Now I will add some inductance to the load. Okay, so I will double click this branch and I will say branch type is RL, and I will just add some inductance here. I have added the inductance of 0.02 Henry or 20 millihenry, and the resistance continues to be to 10 ohms. Okay, so inductance is 20 millihenry now, and I will say apply and say okay, run, save and say run. Now see what is happening here. Again, we are seeing here, students, that there is no change in the nature of load voltage because of the addition of an inductance in the load side. I repeat that when the load was purely resistive, load voltage was looking exactly like this, but the load current was purely sinusoidal, and the load current was peaking at pi by 2, same as the instant at which load voltage added a 20 millihenry inductance to the load, and we are seeing here that the load current is attaining a peak at an instant after pi by 2. I repeat that the effect of adding inductance in the load is that now the it is getting filtered off. Now let me see if I can reduce the inductance and see if the load current is peaking at values earlier than this thing. Okay, so close the simulation and double click the branch and change the inductance to half, that is 0.01 or 10 millihenries. Apply, okay, save, simulate. We are seeing here that the load current is now peaking nearer to pi by 2. So as I go on reducing the value of inductance, the load now starts becoming more resistive towards purely resistive, and the phase difference between the load current and load voltage, that is the time difference between the instants at which the load voltage peaks and the load current peaks, are actually different now. Let us again further reduce the inductance to half of the existing value. Double click and I will say 0.005, that is 5 millihenry. Apply, okay, save, run. We are seeing here it is now the instant at which the load current is peaking is now gradually shifting towards the left towards omega t equal to pi by 2. And now let me further reduce it and make it 0.0025, that is 2.5 millihenries. We seeing here now it is becoming more and more sinusoidal. Almost we can say there is absolutely no difference between the instants. Okay, now there is some kind of a charging which is visible here. See, that will also go if I make the inductance to 0. Double click, just set it to 0. Apply, become resistive now. Purely resistive. Okay, so we have seen the effect of the nature of load on the nature of load current. Now let us go back to our original values RL, and let us make the inductance as first 0.02 20 millihenries, then go on doubling it. Okay, Now it's 20 millihenries. You are seeing that the ripples are reducing, and now the load current is not touching the x-axis. Okay, so initially it was touching x-axis. So with 10 millihenry of inductance in the load side, the load current is touching the x-axis. Okay, it's touching the x-axis. Okay, now it's just touching the x-axis. If I reduce it further, say I will make it 5, it will not only touch x-axis, it will also remain on the x-axis for some time. You see, it is remaining. So I will just say auto scale, right? It is not only touching x-axis, it is remaining on x-axis for some time. Reduce it further, 2.5 millihenries. Simulate. Okay, it's remaining more. Go on the other side now. 20 millihenries, run. So it is not touching x-axis, and it is also peaking at a time later than the instant at which the load voltage is peaking. Double it now. Make it 40. See, the ripples are reducing, and now the peaking instant of load current IL is happening much later than VL. Let us go on increasing further. Make it 80. Almost flattening off the point. Yeah, so this is what I meant by saying that the nature of load current depends upon the nature of load. Okay. Now what will happen if I replace the load with a capacitive load? Let us make it RC. Okay, let us make it RC load. Apply. Now before I show the simulation to you, let me check your basic understanding that what kind of change in the waveforms do we expect when I have changed the load from being small inductive load to now small capacitive load. Okay, yes, I want to hear from your side. What is your analysis? Okay, this is a fundamental question. Okay, now a question to you is this: what will be the change in nature of load voltage comma load current if I add a capacitance to R instead of L? Yes, I want to answers from your side. What will be the changes in nature of VL or IL or both if I add a capacitance to resistor instead of inductance? Speak out.
IL will lead.
Okay, one answer which I got is he's telling that, sir, IL will lead VL, correct? Yeah, theoretically correct.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So first conclusion which you are telling based on your knowledge is that IL will lead VL. Okay, fine. Let us see. Now I want you to comment whether the mathematical natures will change or not. Will the mathematical natures of VL and IL change? You know why I asked you is that here when we are discussing about the inductive load, what we have concluded that when I add an inductance in series with load, my first conclusion is that the nature of VL waveform does not change. Did you see any change in the nature of load voltage when there is a pure resistor and then added an inductor? There is no change. So the nature of load voltage was purely sinusoidal when the load was purely resistive, and it continued to remain purely sinusoidal even when I added an inductor, and in fact increasing or decreasing the values of L did not change the mathematical nature of VL. At the point, the nature of VL waveform does not change as a function of value of L, but we saw that the nature of IL increasingly loses its sign nature, and the value of phi goes on increasing. These are our observations about the natures of VL and IL changing. So what about the natures of VL and IL? Tell now, this is very important. IL must lead VL, that is a property of capacitance. But what about natures? Okay, so nature of VL, nature of IL. Will it change? Will it not change? Nature of IL, will it change? Will it not change? Comments. The teaching cannot proceed if there is no feedback from students.
Sir, nature of VL will be changed.
Pardon? Your voice is breaking. Repeat. Your answer was not clear to me. You must repeat your answer.
Sir, nature of VL is not be changed.
Will not be changed. So, the student is telling that the nature of VL will not change. What about nature of IL? Nature of IL, will it change? Yes, answers. Don't keep quiet.
Yes.
You are not attending the session just to hear or mark attendance. You are here to think.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, what?
It will change.
What?
Nature
Nature of
of
IL
IL
will change? Yeah? Now see, in the previous case, with inductive load, the nature of VL did not change. So with RL load, your VL did not change, but IL changed. Then what is the difference between capacitor and inductor? According to your answers, then there is no difference in the way that a capacitor and inductor operate. Is this a fact? Are inductor and capacitor same in their functionality? Are they the same?
No, sir.
If they are not the same, right? The first point which you told is that IL will lead VL. In the previous case, IL will lag VL. So when IL lagged VL, in case of an inductive load, the nature of VL did not change, but the nature of IL changed. And if you accept that the capacitor is exactly opposite in nature to an inductor, exactly opposite should happen here, right? So if nature of VL, IL did not change, change respectively for RL load, then the situation should exactly reverse if I add a capacitor. So according to simple logic and reasoning, if I have a capacitor replacing inductor in the load side, then the conclusion should be, or the expectation should be, that the nature of VL should change and the nature of IL should not change. Why? Because capacitor opposes a change in voltage through it. Capacitor opposes a change in voltage through it. So actually capacitor is expected to change the nature of VL. Why? Because it is now, capacitance will now lead to VL lagging IL. So in case of an inductor, current lags voltage, but in case of capacitor, voltage lags the current. Do you all agree with this? That in capacitor, the voltage will lag the current. So that means what is expected here is that the nature of VL should change and nature of IL should not change. That is what is expected. And the phase difference phi should go on increasing or decreasing as value of C increases and decreases, right? But here when I say phase difference, it means VL must increasingly or decreasingly lag the load current. Okay, so these are our theoretical expectations. Let us see what the simulation is telling us, right? So we'll double click this and we will see the capacity is only 1 microfarad. Let us see what difference it has. Resistance is 10 ohms. So now save, run. See what I'm getting? Auto scale. So load voltage is going independently. I'm very sorry. Source voltage Vs is going independently because it is the input. The source current is now equal to 0 and constant on x-axis. Load voltage, the third waveform, the load voltage waveform is now constant at 325.27 volts. The load voltage is constant at 325.27 volts and the load current is also equal to 0. So load voltage has become constant. This was expected because capacitor stores voltage and inductor stores current. But the point what it is. So we have got unexpected results. Let me see what is the effect in the waveforms if I increase or decrease the value of capacitance. Double click and now make it, instead of 1 micro, make it 2 microfarads, 2e minus 6. Apply. Okay. Run. No effect. Let me go and reduce the capacitance and try to make it 0.5 micro. No difference at all. Okay, just holding the voltage. Okay, yeah. So let us remove this, make it RL and let us set it at 0.04. Apply. Okay, yeah, fine. So this was what I meant by telling that what is the effect of the nature of load on the nature of load current. Okay, the conclusion is this: as per MATLAB simulation, VL is remaining constant at the value of Vm equal to 325.27 volts. Second, load current is constant at value equal to 0 amps. Third, the source current is also constant at a value equal to 0 amperes. The point? Yes.